want to thank all of you for making the trip. I hope you didn't have to spend a whole lot of money driving here today, but I'm sure you did. We want to let our congressmen, congresswomen, and senators all know in Washington, D.C. that the people don't want to hear any more finger pointing. The people do not want to hear any more blame for who's at fault with the energy problems in America. Since the 1970s, there is all the blame to go around for everybody we can all share in. It's time to move on in this country. There's been enough blame for everybody for all the problems with energy. Our nation's leaders must come together to solve the nation's energy crisis. We're seeing a lot of debate by politicians on energy, but the one thing that has been missing to me are your voices. Today, our speakers are not all politicians, but also the voices of everyday Georgians trying to survive in this energy crisis. They will talk about the high energy prices and the lack of a sustainable energy strategy in America and the impact that it is having on their families and their businesses.
There's no question that we are experiencing some very difficult economic times. Clearly $4 a gallon gas is having its toll on every Georgia citizen, and it is important that we put forth a strategy that's going to have an impact there. Certainly we recognize that much of this rests at the federal level, and there oftentimes is little that we can do at the state level, but we can do our part, and that's what we're here to focus on. I'm very pleased that Georgia Power is embracing that new technology and moving and seeking state and federal approval to build 2 new 1,100 megawatt nuclear reactors there at Plant Vogtle near Waynesboro. I think we were very proud also with Soneva, which has great technology from with the use of solar power, solar panels, and we're confident that with this plant and the technology that's been derived out of Georgia Tech will offer great solutions long-term for this energy concern.
I've been shrimping and still have 2 shrimp boats, and I've been shrimping since 1976. So we've seen the ups and downs of fuel costs throughout the years. But in the Georgia industry, our profitability is calculated by determining the number of gallons that we use compared to the amount of shrimp that we catch. In the past, any amount less than about 1 gallon of fuel compared to 1 pound of shrimp would allow us to pay all of our expenses and keep our industry going and at least break even. Today, with the fuel prices where they are, often the fuel costs more costs more per gallon than a pound of shrimp than the shrimpers are getting for a pound of shrimp. Since the year 2000, the cost of fuel has risen from approximately 90 cents per gallon to over $4.35 per gallon. This is over a 350% increase. Shrimp prices have dropped as much as 47% over that same time period due to the imports that are being dumped into the United States market by countries that are subsidizing their shrimp farms and subsidizing the fuel that's used by the shrimp producers.
Good morning. My name is Chip Matthews. I'm president of Benton Express Incorporated, a regional less-than-truckload carrier. We run approximately 300 trucks from 21 facilities with about 700 terrific associates. This week, 1 year ago, the national average for diesel fuel was $2.84 a gallon. It cost about $710 to fill up a typical tractor like the one right there. This week, the average price for diesel fuel is $4.72 a gallon, costing the same truck about $1,180 to fill it up. That's an increase of $470 per fill-up, or an increase of 66%. We can't absorb that. We can't absorb a chunk of it. We can't absorb any part of that. So we have to pass it on. We must pass it on. And then we pass it on, and our customers then pass it on, who then passes it on to the end user.
Schools can only cut so many services before they begin balancing their budgets on the backs of taxpayers. It's not just fuel, groceries, and energy prices that are rising. Soon, taxes will have to rise as well. And let me make one thing very clear. I do not support raising taxes and balancing the energy crisis on the backs of our families and taxpayers. We need to solve our energy crisis first. In Georgia, we need our tax dollars flowing directly into classrooms and into the future of our state and country, rather than into the pockets of foreign oil-producing countries. We need to educate our children with our taxes. It is time that our elected officials make choices that will benefit the future. Not my future or your future, but for the future of our children and our grandchildren and many generations to come.